Welcome back to your podcast, Powering Sustainability. Today we're talking about a topic which is underestimated because it's the amount of waste that each person generates and what this causes. Normally we don't measure the consequences, but we drop a bag of tea, a potato, or things like this, which are small in our homes. But actually, we don't know the reality of the amount of waste that is generating. So today, our topic is about three big disasters that happened. Every year, the world generates more than 2 billion tons of waste. So if that is not well managed, produces disaster. And today, we'll speak about three, which we want to put in the conscience of everyone that we must take care of how we handle our waste. We will speak about the landfill collapse in Manila, the towering dump site in Delhi, and plastic that is slowly choking our oceans. And for today, I have a very special guest that has a lot of passion in sustainability and in the waste management. Her name is Niraja Regu. Welcome, Niraja. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm so excited to be in this podcast. Finally, it's my turn.
Finally, it's your turn. Yes. So it's a very delicate subject that we're gonna speak, and you know a lot of this matter because you have a lot of passion for being sustainable. You like to study these subjects, and you have a lot of experience into this. So we'll talk about these three disasters that could be avoided by many means.
Yes. Um, I don't know how to start talking about the waste problem because it's such an overlooked part of our life. We buy stuff every day. Plastic is so cheap. We keep buying things that we don't need. We keep throwing away things that, maybe we can reuse it after just a repair. But all of this overconsumption that has just basically like taken over all of our lives is just adding to this waste problem. And we don't see it. We dump the waste in our waste bins and then it gets collected and we don't see where it ends up. And usually we are so irresponsible with it. We don't segregate it properly. It ends up causing a lot of problems. The recycling centers are not able to recycle the waste that we produce. And then it just ends up in a landfill somewhere. And what we often do not really recognize is the impact of the landfills that are basically just like huge mountains that honestly, like after some time, we don't really care about the effect that it has on like even our daily lives. Only when it becomes a disaster do we really like notice the harmful effect that it's causing. And what happened in Manila at the Pietas dump site is something that is basically like it was a huge disaster. So the Pietas landfill was first commissioned. I mean, like it started functioning in the 1970s, and then what happened was that a lot of people started depending on it for their livelihood, and they started living in the area, which is in itself is super dangerous. Like thousands of people were living on that site, and then in 2000, in the July 2000, I think there was a huge rainfall in the Philippines, and then basically the land slid, and then the thousands of people who were living there were basically they just perished. I mean, the official number is like about 200 plus people, but then about 300 people extra were like pronounced missing, and the official numbers were never really confirmed, but it is believed that over 1,000 people died at that landslide.
And that is something that is really concerning because uh, it has already taken lives. And something that could be avoided by handling the waste in a proper manner. And it's not only that it was not handled good, But one thing is what the waste is causing, but the people living near there, it generates disease, it generates bad symptoms in a person all the time. So it's a problem that generates several problems, and then you need to go to the hospital, and the hospital has bills, and the hospital again will generate more waste because of the attendance of the people, so it's like a circle that if it's not well planned, it will always collapse.
Yes. Landfill actually, landfills in general are more dangerous because, the leachate from the waste penetrates into the groundwater, and then it affects the population living around, even like far away, because once it enters groundwater, it is in everything that we consume. So we should definitely, governments should have regulations in place for controlling the amount of waste that goes into a landfill, definitely. And if it is not, if we do not, it's one thing to have a law, prohibiting these things, and it's another to follow it and execute it properly, which is not happening in a lot of places around the world. That's what happened in Manila. But yeah, if it is not followed, these kind of disasters will keep on happening.
Yes, and one of the things that should proceed after a disaster like this is my laws are changing. I'm, as a government, now conscient about what can happen, and then change and force to the people and relocate the people that is living around these landfills, which is it's not healthy. It's not good. It's not good to have these things near to the city or people living there. So it is necessary to have a learned lesson there. Otherwise, it's just a matter of time that we can generate another type of viruses, bacteria, and that costs a lot to the world. And it's really painful for the families that are going through all these disasters. So it's something that we not just take for seen, as I've said before in a lot of podcasts, that should not be a little thing that my waste is not doing anything change, it's just one bean, but that bean adds to billions of beans that will cause these disasters.
Yes, of course. And coming back to Pietis, even though the landfill was shortly after the disaster, it was closed. But then they had to reopen it because the waste collected from the area had nowhere to go. And then they reopened it for some time. And then later, a smaller landfill near the area was. This one was shut down, and the smaller landfill was used for a very long time. And then now, like recently, it was decided that this Pietis landfill will be converted into like a park for cycling and everything, because finally they figured out how to like deal with the rest of the waste. But yeah, I wish it did not take lives. Yeah, about 1,000 people's lives were lost. I wish it didn't have to come to that point for us to like reach this point.
Yeah, sometimes we humans need to learn the lesson by mistakes and not by studying first or what we're gonna do or how it's gonna be or how much waste we can receive here and what's the plan A, B, C to not get to that point. But normally it's the other way.
Yeah, planning is what matters the most at this point. City planning, urban infrastructure, that's the basic. And most of the countries we are getting there slowly, but growing countries do have trouble with this because obviously there's like a limit on resources and money and all of that. But yeah, we are getting there.
So 17 years later, in Delhi, 2 people were killed because of a disaster similar as the Pattaya ones. You know more about this, so
Yeah, so The Ghazipur landfill is actually quite infamous in India because it was also commissioned, I think, in the 1980s or something. And it already surpassed the height limit back in 2002. It's still growing. At one point, it was taller than a 17-story building. So it's more like a mountain than a landfill, you know. But then there's no place, especially because India has a high population and cities are very densely populated, especially like major cities like Delhi and Mumbai and stuff like that. So we don't have the land resources, and also planning is also like deficient. But yeah, this tragedy happened. Actually, in the Ghazipur landfill, a lot of the times, because the organic waste is also not disposed of properly, so because of the methane gas produced from the landfill, there's like random fires popping up everywhere in the landfill. A lot of people there also depend on it. They live close by to the landfill. Also, there are people who depend on it because they use the scraps from the waste to earn a living and stuff like that. So it is a constant danger to the people who live there. And also there's the leachate issue. It is there in every landfill, but this here, because it's such a huge mountain of waste, it's more grave in Ghazipur. And the sad part is that the landfill is still being used.
So by those times, it was like a 17-story building. It's still growing, so I think that it can be a Guinness record for having the waste bad handled. But it's something that if we can, maybe we can say that as a podcast, we can reach certain audience, but it's also doing our part to showing this to the world and say, let's do something.
It's very important to shine a light on what's happening around the world, obviously, and that's what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Definitely, I'm sure that every word that we say is not launched to the air, but it will reach a place, and it will reach a person there that can be conscious and say, okay, let's put our hands to this, because so many people in Pattaya died, and 2 people in India were killed. That is known. It's not normal to wait for a big disaster to happen to do something.
As recently as April 2024, on the Ghazipur landfill, a fire broke out. Like I was telling you about the methane gas induced fires, right? This one caused a lot of issues, like health issues, like breathing issues and stuff like that, to the people living nearby. It was a major fire. And down the line, it's going to affect the people. It's nobody else. It is all the waste that we dump on everywhere, basically. It's just going to come back to us, Yeah, it's going to affect our loved ones and the people around us. And as humans that have humanity, it is our duty and our responsibility to do, contribute in any small way that we can to reduce the waste.
That generates me a question that maybe we never do to ourselves. It's how many tons of waste I generate in my life, and where that is going, and what's going to affect. How many tons a person can generate. It's something that now it must be when we are buying our groceries and stuff, say, okay, I will use this definitely, we won't throw it, so I will buy it. Otherwise, leave it for the persons that are gonna give use for the things that you're having that you're making, that you purchase. This third disaster that we will speak about now is the most concerning for me personally, because it's been happening so many years. It is a big problem because the human produces over 400 million tons of plastic every year, from which 8 to 12 million of these tons enters to the oceans. This had created floating garbage patches in the ocean that some of them are bigger than in some countries. So this is very concerning.
Yeah. Uh, the the garbage patches in the ocean, it is a very famous topic actually. The biggest one is called the Great Pacific Ocean Patch, and it's larger than some countries, as they say. And I don't know if you have seen the videos on YouTube. It's very readily available. Uh, you should see it to like sort of understand the severity of the situation. When we talk about ocean plastic waste, we always see pictures of these, turtles getting stuck in like plastic bags and all that. All of that is very serious indeed. But when you see the garbage patch, you'll know exactly how bad the situation is, because these plastics enter the ocean from like all the rivers and like other waterways. Usually when it's monsoon season, anything that we dump in any waterway eventually ends up in the ocean. Sometimes it gets stuck here and there, but eventually they all make their way to the ocean. And the ocean, the garbage patches are all filled with microplastics as well. They're so tiny that there's no way to clean it up also, because we don't have the I mean, like, a lot of people, a lot of organizations are trying to clean it up, but it's very difficult to carry it out because of the vast amount, and also because of the size of microplastics. And I don't know if you know this, but it was found that microplastics are found in all of our bloodstreams. It is even found in the placentas of carrying moms. And research on this is hard to be conducted because they were not able to find a control group, because everybody has microplastics in their body, which is the extent of the issue. We don't even know how it's going to affect us in later in life, and also in the future generations, because all the kids being born, everybody's affected with this.
And this generates new diseases, or diseases that cannot be explained, or they don't have a treatment. And it's all caused because we don't handle our waste in a proper way.
Yeah. And not just humans, all the living beings in the ocean are also affected. It affects everything from sharks to like zooplanktons that generate oxygen in the ocean. It's like the issue, it needs to be solved. It has to be solved if we want to continue living in this planet. This is the first issue that needs to be tackled.
Yes, and it's like you said, there's not a single person, which I'm sure that haven't seen a video from a turtle that was with plastic in the neck, or in another animals, in even the whales, get affected for this. So we are conscious when we see a video about this, but not conscious enough to take action. So that's the main problem. I saw a video and I feel pity. That's really bad. But if I see that video and then I go home and I say, no, this needs to go to another bin. Plastics in plastics, glass in glass, and organic to organic. I will make the difference. We will make the difference, because now we make the difference. My single trash bin, it's making a disaster of tons in my entire life. So in my entire life, I can help a lot and reduce this.
Yes, of course. Reusing, recycling, the 3 Rs are very important. Reducing is the most important, I think. Just, when we talk about like paper straws, some people make fun, what is one plastic straw going to do? What I do is not going to make a difference. But the thing is that it does add up. In whatever small way that we can contribute to reducing the waste produced, we should do it.
I saw some initiatives here in UAE and also in Europe where they put near to the supermarket places where they put incentives to you can put the plastic bottles, and there's people that is now collecting this. So it's one little step that another countries can copy for taking care of this matter, because if a single country is doing it, it's going to make a change, but if the rest, we will definitely make a solution for this issue.
Obviously, it is such a large issue that effort has to be put from all sides. It's not just us as consumers, it's also the big corporations as producers, and also governments, obviously. And these kind of initiatives are getting more popular, but I think we need to have it on a more larger scale, like on a more much more grassroots level in all countries, all growing, and economically, people countries that are right now coming to the forefront, and not just the developed ones. Yeah.
We spoke about these three main disasters that are still happening now in the world, but what are the ways that we can have or we can do to be part of the solution? Which one of the things I mainly think is the education. It's very important to learn and be part in a school, for example. Have lessons about it. Put conscience into the kids, into the young people in the schools, and also having governmental programs that will teach and will control every company about this matter. So for me personally, the learning about these things is very important. So they need to be teach to the people.
Yeah, it has to be taught in schools. It's already being taught in schools for the most part, but what it gets lost somewhere when we become adults. But that has to be remedied, of course. Like even in my school, we were taught to like not litter and segregate and reduce the use, save energy, all of that. But then somewhere along the way, we forget these lessons because we get too caught up in life, and we're always busy. We don't have time to do anything properly. But we need to understand that unless we make this fundamental thing that we abide by, we will not make a change, and it has to be done on a very wide scale. So the education and the teaching should not stop at a school level. It should continue. We should keep on making awareness campaigns. A lot of these NGOs are doing it, but they should be given a wider platform so that it reaches more people. The governments are doing their part. They have initiatives in place. It's just that maybe the outreach is not properly executed. It has to reach more people, that these things are being done and that we should also contribute. And then obviously producers and companies, corporations, more laws and other regulations have to be put in place so that everybody abides by how much waste and how much packaging waste and all of that can be produced. UAE is already doing this, and we discussed this in one of our earlier episodes with Stefan. UAE is already doing it with the Extended Producer Responsibility Initiative. Initiatives like that should come. I mean, it is coming from more countries around the world.
This will heal little by little what we are doing. And also, normally people moves by incentives, by benefits. What's the benefit of being sustainable, of segregate, of separating? And a lot of people, and let's be honest, only do because there's some benefit behind. So if the governments can implement programs like the cleanest community, the cleanest neighborhood, and give some benefits additional to that, it's like we are generating um, the will to do it. This I will do because my community is going to be the best. It's like in the times of Christmas, which one is the house that has more light is the one that wins. Which community is the cleanest? Which country is the cleanest? Which country not? What they can do, and if I know and I have the tools for being a clean country, I can help the ones that are starting into this and help with tools, with support, with financial support, with education. So there's a lot of things that needs to be done that, as you said, governments like in the UAE are already on it and will give the change. But we need to find a way for this to go into another governments and copy or have the initiatives and incentives to the people for them to do it.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of festivals, festivals generate the most waste. So, if we can integrate these kind of initiatives during festivals, even that is going to create a huge impact.
Exactly. And there's a lot of ways. There's these big concerts that can generate a lot of waste. Actually, they can be with the responsible sense of we are cleaning the planet. We are organizing this concert because we want to clean this country. We want to help this other so clean and teach the people that there's now technology to do it.
Actually, segue into this topic. Speaking about concerts, there are some fandoms when they go to some of these K-pop artist concerts. I heard that the BTS fandom once it was an impromptu sort of a concert or something. It was not an actual concert. It was a celebration of their anniversary, and a lot of fans gathered in this arena. And before they left, they cleaned up all their waste and responsibly disposed of it, and it actually made some news, and like a lot of articles were written about it and stuff like that. That is an initiative from the people itself. Those kind of initiatives has to come from everybody.
Yes. Let's clean the planet because it's ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, we only have the one.
We only have one.
Yeah.
And it's already hurt.
Yes.
So we can heal it.
Yes.
So it was very good to have you today, Niraja, and it's I hope we have the reach so people gain conscience about
Yes.
segregating, recycling, and handling their own waste.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It was a nice time talking to you.
Yes. Hope to have you soon enough.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.